Today we're going to look at a really fascinating case study in modern politics. It's all about how a single, carefully planned day of messaging can get completely blown up by one social media post, creating a day of just starkly competing narratives.
So, here's the big question we're tackling. In this age where information just moves at the speed of light, how can a place as powerful as the White House totally lose control of its own story? Let's break down exactly how one very carefully planned day went so spectacularly off the rails.
All right, so let's set the stage. Every single day at the White House has a plan, a theme, a message they want all of us to hear. And this particular Friday, it was no different. They had a really specific, positive announcement all queued up and ready to go.
The big push for the day was supposed to be all about healthcare. The administration was launching a brand new website, trumprx.gov, and the whole point was to slash prescription drug costs. The message was simple, it was powerful, we're saving you money, and we're saving lives. It should have been a clean, positive win. But, as you've probably guessed, that is not the story that ended up sticking.
No, instead, the entire day got hijacked by something completely different. An unexpected social media post that just ignited a firestorm, totally overshadowing that healthcare announcement.
So, what exactly caused this whole mess? Well, it was an AI-generated clip, and it was reposted to the president's official Truth Social account. It showed former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as primates. And here's the thing, it was tacked onto the very end of a much longer video about alleged voting irregularities, almost like a hidden bombshell just waiting to go off.
Now, the initial White House response? It's a classic crisis management play, right? Dismiss and deflect. The press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, she tried to downplay the whole thing, calling it just an internet meme video, and labeling all the criticism fake outrage. It was a really clear attempt to just shut the story down before it could gain any real traction.
But here's the thing. This wasn't just criticism coming from political opponents. Nope. The most significant, and honestly the most damaging backlash, came from inside the president's own party. We're talking about some of his closest and most reliable allies in the Senate.
And the condemnation was swift, and it was absolutely brutal. Take Republican Senator Tim Scott, for example. He didn't just criticize the post. He called it, quote, the most racist thing he'd seen from the administration, and flat out demanded it be taken down. That is a huge statement coming from inside the president's own party. And it wasn't just one lone voice. Pretty soon, other key Republicans were joining in. Senator Susan Collins, a well-known moderate, she publicly agreed with Scott, calling the post appalling. This is when you know the problem is getting serious, when the criticism starts echoing through the party's own ranks. And the pressure just kept building. Even Senator Katie Britt, a close ally who's often seen with the president, said the post should have never been posted. That's the political equivalent of a giant flashing red light. When your staunchest supporters are calling you out, you know you are in some deep trouble.
Okay, so with criticism mounting from all sides, especially from within, the White House was forced to shift from defense to full-on damage control. The situation was just escalating way too quickly to ignore.
And this all unfolded at lightning speed. Think about the timeline here. The video gets posted overnight. The White House defends it in the morning. By midday, the president's own party is in open revolt. And by the afternoon, the post is gone, deleted. This is literally the anatomy of a 21st century political crisis playing out in real time for everyone to see. So, what was the final word from the White House after all of this? Well, the official story became that a staffer had erroneously made the post and that it had since been removed. The blame was neatly shifted from the president to an unnamed staff member, a classic move to try and put an end to a story.
But, and this is a huge but, just as this firestorm was being contained, a completely different story was breaking, a story the White House was far, far more eager to talk about. It was a day of incredible whiplash.
So, what was this other much better story for the White House? Well, it all comes down to one big number, 50,000. On the very same day as this social media meltdown, the U.S. economy was hitting a major historic milestone.
And just as the stock market closed for the day, with the controversy still swirling, the president executed a perfect pivot. He took to social media with a completely different message, a celebration of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, that's a key measure of the market's health, hitting 50,000 for the first time in history. Talk about changing the subject, right?
And what made this even more of a big deal for the administration was that it actually fulfilled a really bold prediction the president had made earlier in the year at Davos. He had said the market would hit 50,000, and it did. It was this moment of vindication that he was clearly ready to celebrate.
And to really understand the significance of this, you have to look at where things were just under a year ago. After a major policy announcement, Wall Street was in a total tailspin, marking some of its worst days in recent memory. Now, fast forward to this day, and the market isn't just recovering, it's hitting an all-time record high. That is a pretty dramatic turnaround.
So, this brings us right back to our central question. A day that started with a self-inflicted political crisis ended with a massive economic victory. So which story do you think really defined the day? And what does it say about our politics that a single social media post can almost completely overshadow a historic economic achievement? That, right there, is the real takeaway. Thanks for tuning in.